Chapter 490. Taking a deep breath, Wang Mai said slowly, in the ancient era, there were many mixed blood races. Among them, the most powerful ones were the demi-beast families. Our Wang family was one of the demi-beast families. As for the so-called demi-beasts, they were beasts that could transform into human forms. In other words, they were the descendants of the beast kings and humans. They had the bloodline of both beasts and humans. When the beast bloodline was awakened, they could summon the phantom of the demi-beast, which would increase their battling power tremendously, allowing them to easily fight against those with higher realms. When a beast reached the beast king realm, it could have offspring with humans. The fact that the Wang family had the bloodline of both beasts and humans did not surprise Yi Chen at all. In fact, he had already suspected that these people had the bloodline of beasts. As for beasts and humans, it sounded a bit unbelievable, but it was not that big of a deal. After a beast reached the beast king realm, it could have two forms, a beast form and a human form. A beast form and a human form were not that different. As long as they wanted to, they could stay in their human form for the rest of their lives. Of course, there were some beast kings who preferred the beast form and did not want to become humans. Wang Mai shook her head. No, even if a normal beast reached the beast king realm and could transform into a human form, it would not be able to have offspring with humans. Only some extremely rare beasts from the ancient era could do so, such as the ancestor of our Wang family, the nine-headed serpent king. Nine-headed serpent. Yi Chen was a bit surprised. The nine-headed serpent was a notorious beast in the ancient era. When it was born, it already had the power of a rank 7 beast. When it reached adulthood, it would have the power of a rank 10 beast. Once it became a beast king, it would be 10 times more powerful than a normal beast king. Those people who destroyed your Wang family were also from a demi-beast family? Yi Chen asked. Wang Mai nodded. Yes, I heard from my grandpa that they were from the Ao family with the bloodline of the blue-eyed white wolf. In the past, the Ao family was only a noble family among the demi-beast families, while our Wang family was the king family. However, the Wang family had declined a long time ago, becoming a normal family. 100 years ago, the Ao family became the king family. Why did the Ao family want to destroy the Wang family, which was also a demi-beast family? That was because they wanted to obtain the bloodline crystal of our Wang family. Yi Chen remained silent and listened to the other party's next words. Bloodline crystal, a crystal that can increase the density of bloodline and increase the chance of bloodline awakening. Only demonic kings can condense this type of crystal, and it's extremely poisonous. Half-demons with low density of bloodline will die without a doubt if they use it. Only half-demons with relatively high density of bloodline can use it effectively. Me and the little snake have used it once, increasing the density of our bloodline from 5-headed snake to 6-headed snake. Once the bloodline awakens, our cultivation base will skyrocket for a period of time without any side effects. Is this the reason why the Ao family wants to deal with your Wang family? Could it be that the Ao family can also use the bloodline crystal of your Wang family? Wang Mai said, bloodline crystals are formed from demonic energy and the blood essence of a demonic king. I think there should be some similarities between them. Alright, now you can tell me about the strength of the Ao clan. Tell me everything you know. Don't hide anything. The Ao family is very powerful. Wang Mai's voice sank as she said, although I do not know anything about the Ao family, I know about the royal family's power very well. In order to become a royal family, there must be 3 conditions. First, there must be a demonic beast king in the family. Second, there must be at least 4 master-level demonic beast warriors. Third, there must be a demonic beast son in the family. Hearing her, Yi Chen started to think. The Ao family was indeed powerful, ridiculously powerful. It seemed like among the demonic beast families, the royal family would be equivalent to a rank 5 martial institution. No, it might be even more powerful than a normal rank 5 martial institution, because a normal rank 5 martial institution might not even have 4 master level C of Soul's Realm warriors. What is this demonic beast son? Once the beast bloodline reaches half of the ancestor's bloodline, one would be a demonic beast son. We call it the perfect demonic beast bloodline. The perfect demonic beast bloodline seemed to be similar to Murong's perfect demi-demon bloodline. This condition might be even harder than becoming a master-level demi-beast, since who would be able to control their own beast bloodline and reach half of it? Without a huge opportunity, there would be no way at all. What is the level of your bloodline? Yi Chen asked casually. Wang Snake answered, we are still far from it. Only when the bloodline density reaches the 9-headed snake level would it be the perfect demonic beast bloodline. But, we have only trained one bloodline crystal. Once we train the second one, the chance of increasing our bloodline density will be half of the first one, and the third one will be half of the second. Of course, we would not dare to try the last 2 times either. If the first one could not kill us, then the chance of the second one would be doubled, and the third one would be doubled. It would be the opposite of increasing our bloodline density. After training 3 bloodline crystals, we would not be able to train anymore, because only the pure 9-headed snake bloodline would be able to train more than 3. We are demonic beasts, so we will never be able to have a pure 9-headed snake bloodline. Now that he knew everything, it was time for Yi Chen to say something. The AO family is very powerful. All I can do is try my best to ensure your safety. If it is beyond my power, then I will have to say sorry. Right now, the AO family might not be able to chase after you. Let's talk about the future later. Naturally, Yi Chen hoped that the AO family would not bother to chase after Wang Snake and Wang Mai. Only a rank 5 martial institution would be able to compete with such a powerful being. He would not even be able to fill the gap between their teeth. The good thing was that the king warriors had their own rules, and the demi-beast king of the AO family would not show up for sure. So, the AO family's danger level would be reduced by 1 rank, which would be equivalent to a top rank 6 martial institution. Thank you, Brother Yi. Wang Snake was not too sure about Yi Chen's power, since the news from the Thunder City martial tea gathering had not arrived yet. But, judging from Yi Chen's chi, he was undoubtedly at the peak level late astral reaching realm. They are very powerful. I heard from my grandpa that there are demi-beasts who have reached the Sea of Souls realm. Wang Mai hesitated for a while before reminding him. Yi Chen sighed, if only that were the case. Wang Mai opened her mouth, but did not know what to say. It was not that she did not trust Yi Chen, but she did not think that astral reaching realm warriors would be able to compete with Sea of Souls realm warriors. Plus, Yi Chen had the blue-eyed white wolf bloodline, which would make his battling power even more powerful than Sea of Souls realm warriors at the same level. After staying in the forbidden place for a day, Yi Chen thought about it and said to the two, it is not a good idea to stay here all the time. Perhaps, they have already left. I will go check out the situation on the Snake Island first. You guys be careful and wait for me to come back. Yi Chen already knew about the exit of the forbidden place, which was under the island. Leaving the forbidden place, Yi Chen arrived in the sky. This place is so close to the Blue Mountain Island. Yi Chen had flown over this island before, but he did not expect that it would be the forbidden place of the Wang family right under the island. As long as he knew where it was, Yi Chen flew in a straight line towards the Snake Island. On the Snake Island, a group of men in hats appeared on the top of the island. Aoseng, have you checked this place? The man in black asked the leading man in white. Yes, I have. There is nothing out of the ordinary. Really? The man in black did not believe him, so he started to search carefully with the other two. Captain, there is a transporting stone door 360 miles down there. One of the men in black found a clue. The man in black, who was called the captain, glanced at Aoseng, but did not say anything. Aoseng looked a bit embarrassed. Fortunately, he had covered his face with the black cloth. The group of people arrived at the stone room where the transporting stone door was, and they could not help but frown. The energy of this transporting stone door has been used up. It seems like we will have to use the bloodline tracking spell. As he spoke, he took out the bottle of blood from the Wang family people from his storage ring. After opening it, he dropped a drop onto his hand. Woo! All of a sudden, a blue-eyed white wolf shadow appeared behind him. Its eyes shone with a bright blue light, and a mysterious power poured into the blood drop. Shoo! The blood drop suddenly jumped up and shot onto the stone wall. It is the West. They are still 100,000 miles away. Let's go. The group of people moved quickly. After leaving the Snake Island, they flew toward the west at an extreme speed. Ao Cheng, this time, the family sent the three of you here. It should not be just to search for the Wang family people, right? Ao Seng was very clear that the Wang family only needed to send one green eye tracker. There was no need to send three of them at once. The leading man in black, Ao Cheng, said, "We have another mission this time, which is to find out more about the Tuoba family's power." Tuoba family, that is a noble family. Is the family planning to attack them? No, we are just trying to find out more. The power of the Tuoba family is hidden very deeply. Not bad. Ao Seng let out a breath. If they wanted to destroy the Tuoba family, they would have to send out all of the Ao family. Unfortunately, the leader of the family was a demi-beast king. Otherwise, he would be able to take care of the whole Tuoba family by himself. After flying for about 10,000 miles, Ao Cheng stopped and continued to perform his bloodline tracking spell. The direction was still the west. On the way, a young man in blue passed by them. "Hey, isn't this the sword artist in blue we ran into in the Bluestone town?" Ao Seng's eyes flashed as he said to Ao Cheng. "What happened?" Ao Cheng asked. Ao Seng told Ao Cheng what had happened in the Bluestone town. "Should we kill him? I feel that there is something wrong with him. His power should be at the Sea of Souls realm. Let's not cause any trouble." Ao Cheng shook his head. Yi Chen was able to make it out of the 5-poison great spell alive, so he must be powerful. He did not believe that he was just a normal peak-level astral-reaching realm warrior. Without showing any expression on his face, Yi Chen did not slow down at all as he pulled out the distance between him and the group of men in hats. "It is them. Why are they heading in that direction? Perhaps they have a way to find Wang Snake and Wang Mai? I guess I can only try my luck." After flying for hundreds of miles, Yi Chen suddenly stopped and followed them secretly. Although they were very powerful and would not be able to beat them alone, there would still be a chance to save them. Most importantly, Yi Chen could guarantee that he would not die, and that would be enough. Just as Yi Chen had expected, they were flying in the forbidden place of the Wang family without any deviation, as if they knew that the forbidden place was in that direction. Chapter 491. It is here. Ao Cheng and the group arrived above the island, looking down. "Then, I will bring a couple of people down to catch them. You guys stay outside." Ao Seng waved his hand, signaling for the 4 men to follow. Ao Cheng nodded his head and said to the remaining 2 bamboo hat men in black and 9 bamboo hat men in white, "The 11 of you, each take a side. If you see anyone coming over, kill them without mercy. Also, move around as much as possible. With our soul power, we can't seal off the entire island." The island had a radius of hundreds of miles. If one were to look at it as a square, each side would be 500 miles long, and the 4 sides would add up to 2,000 miles. Of course, because it was an irregular shape, it might only be 1,600 or 700 miles. With 12 people guarding it, each of their mental power or soul power would have to cover more than 100 miles. Not to mention the fact that the 9 men in white were only peak-level late astral-reaching realm warriors who could not use their soul power. Even if they were all Sea of Souls realm warriors, they would not be able to lock down the whole island. Yes. The 11 of them spread out, flying toward the chosen spot. Hundreds of miles deep in the lake, a blue figure kept flashing. Those 3 men in black are all Sea of Souls realm warriors. Their soul power lockdown range is very wide, and they would be able to sense my soul power. It would not be worth the risk. Those men in white are astral-reaching realm warriors, and my soul power would not only be able to avoid their mental power detection, but also be able to detect me without them noticing. I will sneak into the forbidden place from where they are. After making up his mind, Yi Chen started to swim forward at a fast speed. The whole process went smoothly, as Yi Chen easily avoided the mental power lockdown of the men in white and arrived at the entrance of the forbidden place. He then performed his body art and started to fly at top speed. The forbidden place was covered with a restrictive power, so soul power would not be able to get in. People outside would not be able to know what was going on inside. Hold on for a bit longer. Yi Chen was worried that Wang Snake and Wang Mai might have already fallen into the hands of the men in white, since it had been a long time since then. It is not easy for you two to reach the astral reaching realm. Hand over the bloodline crystals now, and I will let you go. Ao Seng and the 4 white-clothed bamboo hat men appeared in a fan-shaped formation in the spacious and dark stone hall. Sixth Elder, why don't we just kill them and take their storage rings? There's no need to talk about conditions. A white-robed bamboo hat man was puzzled, so he sent a Jin Yuan transmission. I'm afraid that they've made preparations and hid the bloodline crystals. Are you sure you can find the bloodline crystals if you kill them? Ao Seng was no fool. As the 6th elder of the Ao family, he had not only strength, but also experience. Wang Mai looked gloomy, and all kinds of thoughts flashed through her mind. Did Yi Chen betray us? Otherwise, how could the Ao clan find this place? Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? No, why did Yi Chen betray us? His power was far above mine and Wang Shi's. There was no need for him to leave the forbidden area of the Wang family to inform others. He could deal with us alone. It should be a secret technique of the Ao clan. Thinking that she suspected Yi Chen, Wang Mai felt a little guilty. I won't hand over the bloodline crystal to you. Dream on. Wang Shi's eyes were red, and a huge 6-headed snake shadow appeared behind him. Brat, you want to die. One of the white-robed bamboo hat men yelled. He did not summon the blue-eyed white wolf shadow, but threw out a palm attack. That horrifying palm power attacked toward Wang Shi. Watch out. Wang Mai blocked in front of Wang Shi, blocking that palm attack for him. Boom. It was like a bomb had exploded in the stone room. That aggressive chi flow spread out in all directions, blowing Wang Mai and Wang Shi away. Sister Mai, are you okay? Hundreds of meters away, Wang Shi saw the blood coming out of Wang Mai's mouth. Wang Mai shook her head. I'm fine. After so many years of training, Wang Mai had reached the mid-astral reaching realm from the early clasping Yuan realm. Once she called out the 6-headed snake shadow, she would be able to compete with powerful astral reaching realm warriors. Although the white-robed man was at the late astral reaching realm, he did not call out the blue-eyed white wolf shadow, so his power was not that much more powerful than Wang Mai's. The density of the 6-headed snake bloodline is not bad. Ao Seng looked regretful. If he were a descendant of the Ao family, he would definitely be the focus of training. Wang Mai looked at Ao Seng cautiously, protecting Wang Shi behind her. Shaking his head, Ao Seng took a step forward and said with a creepy voice, since you are not willing to hand over the bloodline crystal, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Come here. As he reached out his hand, Wang Mai's body was sucked in without any power to fight back. Shoo. Right then, a sword chi shot out, cutting off the sucking power. Who is it? Ao Seng only saw a blur before a blue figure flashed out and pulled Wang Mai back. Brother Yi. Wang Shi was overjoyed. Locking his eyes on Ao Seng, Yi Chen said lightly, Don't worry, I will take you out. It's you. Ao Seng recognized Yi Chen. He regretted not killing him earlier, but at the same time, a mocking smile appeared on his face. You? Since you are here, don't even think about leaving. His protective Jin Yuan had been shattered, turning into pieces of sword light. Yi Chen grabbed Wang Shi and Wang Mai, yelling with a low voice, Go! Shoo! The sword light shot out, and the 3 disappeared into the tunnel. Ao Seng's expression froze for a second before he yelled, Where do you think you're going? With a buzzing sound, a blue-eyed white wolf shadow appeared behind Ao Seng's back. His whole body turned into a sphere of white light, chasing after them. The 2 of them flew through the tunnel of the Wang family's forbidden area. Soon, Yi Chen was the first to jump out of the exit, diving into the depths of the lake. Ao Seng was furious. He turned his head and yelled, You 4, go inform them. Then, he chased after Yi Chen in a hurry. In the sky above the island. What? They were saved. It was that blue-robed sword artist. Ao Cheng's expression turned ugly. Before, Ao Seng had suggested to kill Yi Chen, but he did not agree. Now that 2 of the Wang family's descendants had been saved by Yi Chen, it was undoubtedly a slap on his face. The rest of you stay here. You 2, follow me. After using the bloodline tracking art to confirm the direction of Wang Shi and Wang Mai, Ao Cheng and the two black-robed bamboo hat men chased after them. Splash! A water-breaking sound was heard as a sword light shot out. Vaguely, one could see 3 human figures wrapped within the sword light. Not long after, another human figure shot out. His speed was much slower than the sword light, but he would not be able to get rid of it in a short period of time. Stay here. Ao Seng threw out a claw attack, his claw shadows flying everywhere. Shoo! The sword light was like a mischievous fish, traveling between the claw shadows without being harmed at all. What kind of secret art is this? An astral reaching realm warrior can reach 10 times the speed of sound. While Ao Seng was furious, he also felt that it was unbelievable. Normally, an astral reaching realm warrior who could reach 5 times the speed of sound would already be very powerful. 6 or 7 times the speed of sound would only be for extreme astral reaching realm warriors with extremely powerful body arts. As for those martial geniuses who could challenge Sea of Souls realm warriors, they would not be able to increase their speed to more than 10 times the speed of sound. However, Yi Chen's speed had completely overturned his understanding. My Jin Yuan is much richer than yours. Let's see how long you can last. Ao Seng did not believe that Yi Chen could last. The Sea of Souls realm warriors' Jin Yuan was like the ocean, which was not something astral reaching realm warriors could compete with. 1 day and 1 night had passed. Yi Chen had flown a whole 900,000 miles with the two, leaving Ao Seng behind for more than 1,000 miles. However, he did not stop, since it was not a coincidence that these people could find the forbidden place of the Wang family. Perhaps there was something more to it. In fact, Ao Seng was not just 1,000 miles away from Yi Chen, but 2,000 miles. Because of the long chase, he could no longer see Yi Chen, so he had to wait for Ao Cheng to catch up. Only Ao Cheng's bloodline tracking spell could confirm their location. No. Let's switch to the flying puppet first. Yi Chen could not take it anymore, since he was not a Sea of Souls realm warrior. 1 day and 1 night of flying at such a high speed was quite taxing on him. If it were not for his half-spirit body, he would not be able to take it. The flying puppet's top speed was 10 times the speed of sound. Yi Chen wanted to see if Ao Seng and the rest could catch up or not. If they could not, then there would be no problem, and they could just find a place to hide. If they could, then it would be a big problem, since they obviously had a tracking spell. In less than 15 minutes, Yi Chen had found Ao Cheng and Ao Seng. His face darkened. Yi Chen said to Wang Snake and Wang Mai, "If I have guessed it right, they should be able to track you too with a secret spell." "Then what should we do?" Wang Snake said anxiously. "No other way. We can only fight with our endurance." Yi Chen could actually go to the South Rudra Martial School, since the leader of the school, Long Bai, would be there. But, he should not forget that it was the Ao family, which was a royal family, which was equivalent to a rank 5 martial school. It was impossible for Yi Chen to go to the South Rudra Martial School and the Dragon God Celestial Palace for support every time something happened, not to mention that it might bring trouble to the Dragon God Celestial Palace. Putting away the flying puppet, Yi Chen continued to perform his sword light flying spell. While flying, Yi Chen split his attention and started to train his undying body. Normally, it would be impossible to train other secret arts while operating Jin Yuan. However, operating Jin Yuan and training the undying body did not conflict at all, since the undying body did not use Jin Yuan, but soul power, which would form a soul mark and brand it on the body. Another day and night had passed, and the group left the Star Regional Lake and arrived at the wavy snow region. Impossible. How could he last that long? Ao Seng and Ao Cheng were once again left 1,000 miles away. If it were not for the bloodline tracking spell, they would have lost Yi Chen long ago. Ao Cheng said with a low voice, "Only 2 days. I don't believe that he could last more than 5 days. This brat is strange. I hope it is as you said." The sword light sliced through the sky, not slowing down at all. Not long ago, I had successfully branded the soul mark on the 5 viscera. Now, I have also done it on the 6 viscera. Next, I will start on the 4 limbs. Once the 4 limbs are done, the first level of the flesh healing will be 80% complete. Perhaps it was because of the urgency of the situation, but Yi Chen's speed of training the undying body had increased by dozens of times. It was like he was sitting on a rocket. Chapter 492. Brother Yi is so powerful. Being carried by Yi Chen with one hand and flying at an extreme speed, Wang Snake's admiration for Yi Chen had reached a new level. It was not an astral reaching realm warrior chasing after them, but 4 Sea of Souls realm demi-beasts. Even under the pursuit of 4 Sea of Souls realm demi-beasts, Yi Chen was still able to carry them for 2 days. It was beyond Wang Snake's imagination. If Wang Snake was still a young brat before, then right now, he was a new generation of demi-beast martial geniuses. He would not admire anyone he saw, but his admiration for Yi Chen was pure. Wang Mai was also shocked. Before, she did not have much hope for Yi Chen, since the power gap between them was way too huge. No matter how hard they struggled, it would not help at all. Therefore, she decided to face it calmly. But now, she did not think like that anymore. She had a chance to survive, and the only reason for that was because of Yi Chen. Shoo! The sword light was like an aurora in the void. Every time it flickered, it would cover a distance of 10 miles. It was truly 10 miles in an instant. The people chasing after them were divided into 2 groups. One of them was Ao Seng and Ao Cheng, who had been left behind by Yi Chen for over 2,000 li, unable to shake him off. One of them was the 2 men in black robes. Although they were also Sea of Souls realm demi-beasts, they were way weaker than Ao Seng and Ao Cheng. They were at least 6,000 miles away. Fortunately, the 2 knew the bloodline tracking spell, so they did not lose track of them. Ao Chong, is this guy really at the peak level late astral reaching realm? We have been chasing for 2 days and 2 nights, but we still could not catch up. The man in black robes was shocked. This guy dares to go against our Ao family. Once we catch him, we will let him experience what it feels like to be dead. The man in black robes named Ao Chong said with hatred. I do not think it is that simple. Since he dares to go against our Ao family, he might have some kind of support. How could a normal power have such a horrifying martial genius? What are you afraid of? Our Ao family is the king family. Even rank 5 martial institutions would have to respect us. Even if we cannot kill him, we can take him back and torture him. No one would dare to say anything. The weather in the misty snow region was extremely cold. Even though one was high up in the sky, one could still feel the cold air cutting down like ice blades. Sit up. Taking out the flying puppet, Yi Chen flew up and sat on it. Big brother Yi, is this a high-grade puppet? Wang Snake felt much more relaxed. Back then, Yi Chen had protected him all the way to the Wang family on the Snake Island. Now, Yi Chen was protecting them again. To him, Yi Chen was like a brother, but also like a senior, giving him a strong sense of security. Yi Chen nodded. I found it in some ruins. After saying that, he closed his eyes and began to meditate. After flying for 2 days and 2 nights, Yi Chen had swallowed a lot of true essence restoring pills. Now, his true essence had begun to turn turbid, and there were impurities in it. After all, pills were external objects. If he used too many of them, there would always be side effects. If he didn't eliminate these side effects, then he would be in danger. His true essence operated according to the 14th level of the Green Lotus Sword spell. Yi Chen cleaned out the impurities bit by bit, recovering his purity. I see him. Indeed, his total Zhen Yuan is still at the astral reaching realm. It is not as rich as us. After 15 minutes, Ao Seng and Ao Cheng started to catch up. They had only swallowed 1 pill on the way, so they were not affected at all. Let's charge over in one go. Ao Cheng was afraid that something bad would happen if he dragged it out, so he risked the possibility of his meridians being damaged. Seeing that the 2 were about to catch up, Wang Snake and Wang Mai started to panic. Don't worry. Yi Chen's face looked like it had been carved by a knife, without any expression. As he spoke, 2 steel pipes appeared from the back of the flying puppet. One of them had an orange-yellow light spot on its end, which was getting bigger and bigger until it turned into a light ball. Boom! A beam of light shot out, turning into a bright red light wave. Not good. Dodge. Ao Cheng and Ao Seng's speed was too fast as they approached the flying puppet quickly. The flying puppet fired a cannon at them, which meant that the two were moving at an extreme speed, which would increase their reaction speed by 2 times. Not to mention the fact that they could not react in time. Even if they were prepared, they might not be able to avoid that huge light wave completely. Boom! The light wave exploded, and the two's speed decreased drastically. It is only an extreme astral reaching realm attack. Damn it! Its attacking speed is even faster than ours. Ao Seng did not care about the power of the puppet cannon, but its attacking speed annoyed him. The two were 30 miles away from each other, yet it still managed to hit the target. Let's split up. Let's see what kind of tricks he has up his sleeves. Ao Cheng suggested. All right. Shoo. The two flew to the left and right, increasing the distance between them. This way, the light wave explosion would not be able to affect the two at the same time. Yi Chen had been paying attention to the two with his soul power. Seeing that they had split up, he flicked his finger, and the leopard-shaped flying puppet appeared. I will leave this flying puppet to you two. Attack it as hard as you can. Wang Snake and Wang Mai were very interested in the flying puppet, so they hurried to nod. Boom! Boom! Beams of light shot out, moving at a lightning-fast speed. Bastard! Let's attack as well. Ao Seng and Ao Cheng were in a terrible situation. Their speed was sometimes fast and sometimes slow, and they could not control the rhythm well. Before, they did not attack Yi Chen, because if they did, it would affect their speed. But now, they had to fight back with all of their power. Otherwise, they would never be able to catch up with him for the rest of their lives. Ghost Wolf Claw. Ao Seng's right hand and the blue-eyed white wolf's claw reached out at the same time. Countless green claw lights shot out, tearing apart the clouds. Hunting Chain. Ao Cheng trained the gold element Zhen Yuan. Zhen Yuan circulated in his palm, shooting out 2 blue-red chains. The chains seemed to be real, making a loud noise and bringing up sparks, trying to entangle Yi Chen and the other two. Back. Yi Chen jumped into the air, grabbing Wang Snake and Wang Mai with each hand. The 2 flying puppets were also put into his storage ring. Shoo! The sword light sliced through the sky, traveling between the claw shadows and the chains. Seeing this, Ao Seng and Ao Cheng almost puked out a mouthful of blood. It was so annoying. They could not catch up with him, and neither could they hit him. I wonder how long these two are going to chase for. In fact, Yi Chen was also very tired. In just half an hour, he had only made 50 to 60% of the impurities, and his Jin Yuan was not as pure as before. If this continued, his speed would be slower and slower, and eventually, he would be caught up by the two. Glancing at Wang Snake and Wang Mai, Yi Chen let out a breath. If he left these two behind, the chance of him escaping would be 100%. Even if he did not escape, those two would not be able to do anything to him, since his sword steps were not something to be trifled with. Right now, they should really want to live. The thought of leaving the two behind flashed through Yi Chen's mind as he made up his mind to escape with the two, giving them a chance to live. Before they knew it, the three had arrived above a huge ice mountain. There were a lot of palaces on top of the ice mountain, all of which looked very elegant. There were countless human figures flying around, giving off a prosperous scene. Teacher, the attacking movement of the Ice Snow Sword Realm cut. I still have some questions. Can you explain it to me? On top of the ice mountain, a cold-looking young lady and an extremely beautiful girl were standing there. The beautiful girl was indeed Feng Yenro. The cold-looking young lady said lightly, "There is no use in talking. I will just perform it for you." "Thank you, teacher." Feng Yenro opened her eyes wide, staring at the cold-looking young lady without blinking. Her teacher was none other than the leader of the floating snow martial school, the Snow Sword Master. She was a master-level warrior who was very famous among all the master-level warriors in the whole True Spirit continent. Watch carefully. The Snow Sword Master slightly stomped on the ground. Countless sword lights appeared around her body, which were connected from head to tail, layer upon layer. It looked like an iron ball made of countless swords, which was more than 10 times more powerful than Feng Yenro's Ice Snow Sword Realm. Cut. The ice element Xin Yuan in her hand condensed into an ice sword, and she threw out a sword attack into the sky. Shoo. All of the sword lights around her body were sucked out, and a cold white light shot out. It was 90,000 meters long, seeming to be able to tear the sky apart. The sea of clouds turned into ice crystals, falling down from the sky. The shocking sky above the sea of clouds could be seen clearly. Feng Yenro let out a breath slowly. Every time she saw her teacher attack, she would be very shocked. The title of Snowsword Master was not just for show. Hey, teacher, there is someone chasing us up there. That person in front looks so familiar. This Qi. It is Yi Chen. Yi Chen was wrapped in the sword light, and could not be seen with naked eyes. But the Qi that was leaking out of him made Feng Yenro recognize him immediately. He is indeed Yi Chen, the martial genius from the tea gathering. Snowsword Master was a bit surprised. In her eyes, Yi Chen's future would be limitless. Having master-level sword intent at the astral reaching realm was something she had never thought of before. It was also something that had never happened before. In other words, Yi Chen's record in sword intent would be the best in the history, and there might not be anyone who could break it in the future. Teacher, why don't you save him once? Making friends with such a martial genius would be good for our snowy martial school. Feng Yenro looked at Snowsword Master. Snowsword Master was about to agree, but her eyes froze all of a sudden. She stared at the man in white and the man in black. Behind them was the blue-eyed white wolf shadow. No. Saving him will bring trouble to our snowy martial school. Snowsword Master rejected immediately. Why? Feng Yenro did not understand. The two people chasing him are not simple. Even rank 5 martial schools would not want to mess with them. They are from the AO family, and there are 5 master-level warriors in the AO family, maybe even more. Do you think our snowy martial school has the right to compete with them? Snowsword Master really wanted to save Yi Chen. She could imagine how powerful Yi Chen would be in the future. It might even be possible for him to become a sword king. But right now, she could not save him. 5 master-level warriors. Feng Yenro remained silent. Everyone knew about the power of master-level warriors. Although she thought that her master's Snowsword Master was very powerful and did not need to be afraid of any master-level warrior, but if 1 was not enough, then what about 2? What about 5? Let's go back. He will not die that easily. Otherwise, he would not have been able to escape until now. Snowsword Master shook her head and turned to leave. Chapter 493. That sword just now. So powerful. It's ice profound. Although Snowsword Master's sword didn't cut open stunning sky, Yi Chen knew that the opponent was intentionally restraining herself, as if she was demonstrating it to someone. Otherwise, with the might of that sword, not to mention stunning sky, it could even tear apart extreme void sky. This is the Misty Snow Palace's territory. The one who waved this sword should be Misty Snowsword Master, right? Ao Seng said solemnly. Ao Cheng nodded. It's Snowsword Master without a doubt. No wonder people say that she's among the top 5 sword masters. Just this sword alone can heavily injure ordinary master-level characters. As long as she doesn't hinder us, it's fine. Otherwise, the master-level characters of my AO family are not to be trifled with. The two only sighed at the might of Snowsword Master, but they didn't have much apprehension. After all, they were only passing by the Misty Snow Palace. South of Misty Snow region was the edge of the continent. If they continued flying, they would arrive at Boundless Ocean. Compared to True Spirit Continent, Boundless Ocean was indeed boundless. Nobody knew if Boundless Ocean had an end or not, or if it was the edge of this world. If True Spirit Continent was known, then Boundless Ocean was unknown. The danger of Boundless Ocean far surpassed the former. One of the dangers of Boundless Ocean was the ocean demonic beasts. True Spirit Continent's demonic beasts were limited, but Boundless Ocean's was limitless. If True Spirit Continent could give birth to a demonic king, then Boundless Ocean could give birth to many times more demonic kings. Of course, because Boundless Ocean was too vast, demonic kings couldn't be found normally. Upon arriving at Boundless Ocean, Yi Chen felt that the wind here was very strong enough to blow away clasping Yuan martial artists. In some places where the wind was concentrated, the air currents actually formed into wind blades. These wind blades were as fast as lightning, producing sharp air-piercing sounds. Apart from this, in the sky above boundless ocean, the water yuan qi was abnormally dense, condensing into water droplets. Some water droplets were the size of rice grains, reflecting a sparkling radiance, while others were the size of small mountains, floating in the sky, slowly moving. Crackle! A lightning bolt suddenly shot out from the water droplets, dazzling to the extreme. Yi Chen did not expect the water droplet to release lightning at him, so he did not have enough time to dodge. He could only lift up his left hand and blow out the lightning. Along the way, Yi Chen was attacked by lightning many times. Fortunately, he was prepared, so it was not difficult for him to avoid them. Soon after, Yi Chen witnessed an astonishing scene. The instant a flying demonic beast was struck by lightning, the water droplet rushed over and wrapped around the corpse of the flying demonic beast, slowly decomposing it and absorbing its nutrients. Could it be that these water droplets have their own consciousness? Yi Chen secretly marveled at the wonders of the endless sea. 50 to 60 li behind him, Ao Cheng and Ao Seng were in hot pursuit. 5 days and 5 nights. Is this guy made of iron? For the first time, Ao Seng felt a little discouraged. For a member of the Ao family who had inherited the blue-eyed white wolf's bloodline, this was inconceivable. Wolves were extremely tenacious animals and would not give up easily. Ao Seng, don't give up. Ao Cheng's patience was much higher than Ao Seng's. Of course, he was a green-eye tracker, so he had to be patient. Ao Seng smiled bitterly. The endless sea is filled with dangers. Do we really have to keep chasing? This brat is determined to play with us to the end. Who knows, he might succeed in the next moment. Just wait for the right opportunity. Ao Cheng knew that Ao Seng's words were not without reason, but giving up before encountering any obstacles was not his style, nor was it the style of a green-eye tracker. This would have a huge impact on his martial path. Brother Yi, you must be tired. Wang Shi raised his head to look at Yi Chen. Yi Chen shook his head, not tired. In the bewilderment fog-forbidden zone, Yi Chen had been searching for a way out for several months. Even in that hopeless situation, he had persevered. How could he not do it this time? Moreover, these 5 days and 5 nights were not for nothing. Besides his 5 viscera and 6 bowels, he had already succeeded in branding the soul mark on his left leg. With just one more step, he would succeed in branding his right leg as well. However, although Yi Chen was not tired, he had to admit that the distance between them was getting shorter. On the first day, Yi Chen could throw the other 2,000 li away. On the second day, it was slightly weaker, at 1,700 or 800 li. On the third day, it was 1,200 or 300 li. On the fourth day, it was only 800 li. On the fifth day, he could at most 300 li. On the sixth day, the distance between them was not even 100 li, only 50 to 60 li. The Zhen Yuan purity in my body is probably not even 30% of what it was before. After cultivating green lotus Zhen Yuan to the 14th layer, it had become incomparably pure. Currently, Yi Chen's Zhen Yuan quantity had not decreased, and the purity of his Zhen Yuan was at most equivalent to the 9th layer of green lotus sword arts. Fortunately, sword light flight art was created based on attack speed, and did not have a high requirement for Zhen Yuan purity. It was impossible to say that people with high Zhen Yuan purity would have a much higher attack speed than those with low Zhen Yuan purity. Otherwise, if Yi Chen encountered a Sea of Soul Realm expert, how could he fight? Of course, the decrease in Zhen Yuan purity would affect the speed, but it would not be that obvious. 50 li, 30 li, 10 li. When the dawn of the boundless ocean arrived, the distance between the two had never been so close. For ordinary people, 10 li might take a while, but for Ao Cheng and Ao Seng, 10 li was a blink of an eye. If not for Yi Chen maintaining high speed, they would have caught up to Yi Chen in a blink of an eye. So close. Let me see how you dodge my attack. Ao Cheng extended both his hands, and dozens of greenish-red chains shot out like steel tentacles, enveloping Yi Chen in front of him. With a grave expression, Yi Chen flicked his finger backward. Swish. A bullet-like lotus heart sword chi shot out, creating sparks on Ao Cheng's protective Zhen Yuan. In the next moment, his Zhen Yuan was shattered. Sword chi. Blood blossomed from Ao Cheng's shoulder. If it weren't for the protective Jin Yuan blocking the sword Chi's path, it wouldn't have been his shoulder that was injured, but his heart. Once the heart was pierced, it meant death, unless he had some kind of miraculous medicine that could regenerate flesh and bones and heal it immediately. This person is extremely dangerous. Ao Cheng's body froze slightly. With his Jin Yuan connection broken, he lost control of the greenish-red chains. He finally realized that Yi Chen did not only have speed, but also his battle prowess. He had been a bit careless. Yi Chen frowned. The power of the Lotus Heart Sword Chi was extremely powerful, but he did not expect it to be deviated by his opponent's protective Jin Yuan. Judging from this, Ao Cheng's battling power was even more powerful than Yu Youtian's. If Yi Chen were to battle with Yu Youtian again, his chances of winning would be around 60 to 70%. However, his chances of killing the latter might not even be 10%, since the latter would definitely be able to escape. Go down for me. Ao Seng launched his attack. A huge Jin Yuan hand reached out, and countless water droplets exploded while lightning flashed across the sky. You too, hold on tight. Back in the Wang family's forbidden ground, Yi Chen could already tell that Wang Mai and Wang Snake had feelings for each other. Therefore, he let them stay close to each other while he pulled out his emerald long sword with his right hand and slashed at the huge Jin Yuan hand. Boom! A huge shockwave spread out, shattering the sword light around Yi Chen's body. However, his speed did not decrease at all, and he was pushed back by the shockwave. On the contrary, Ao Seng's speed dropped drastically. Blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. Yi Chen was injured. The purity of his Jin Yuan had dropped too much, leaving him with only 60 to 70% of his battle prowess. However, with the undying body, this kind of injury did not affect him much. Hihi, let's see how long you can last. Seeing Yi Chen injured, Ao Seng seemed to see hope, and his spirit rose. Boom 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 boom. The two were separated by dozens of li. After exchanging dozens of moves, although Yi Chen had a lot of blood on the corner of his mouth, his battle prowess did not decrease at all. Impossible. Ao Seng revealed a shocked expression. His advantage before was 80%, but now, it was still 80%. Could it be that those injuries did not affect him at all? On the other side, Ao Cheng stealthily approached 3 li away from Yi Chen. Swish. A new Lotus Heart Sword Chi had already formed in Yi Chen's body, and he flicked his finger. The Lotus Heart Sword Chi was extremely fast. Ao Cheng had no choice but to clash with Yi Chen head-on. In this exchange, both sides were evenly matched. It was not because Yi Chen had recovered to his peak, but because the Lotus Heart Sword Chi was not affected by the purity of Jin Yuan. Let's beat him together. Yi Chen's stubbornness had thoroughly enraged Ao Cheng, and he yelled at Ao Seng. The two attacked Yi Chen from the left and right. On the left were dozens of green-red chains, while on the right were numerous green claw shadows. Poochie. Carrying 2 people, Yi Chen's mobility was greatly reduced. His ribs were pierced by a green-red chain, and blood splashed everywhere. Bind. Ao Cheng's palm retracted, and the chain that had pierced through Yi Chen coiled around his body. In this situation, Yi Chen's expression was still as calm as an ancient well. His forehead swelled as he pushed his soul power to the limit, quickly finding the weak point of the green-red chain and cutting it off with a single sword strike. Having lost its source, the green-red chain that had coiled around Yi Chen scattered. Swish. At the same time that Yi Chen cut off the chain, his chest was also hit by 2 claw shadows. His skin was torn open, and even his bones were almost broken. Without caring about the wound on his chest, Yi Chen waved the emerald long sword in his hand to its limit, blocking the dozens of green-red chains that were coming at him. One chain after another broke off, flying in the air. However, the more chains that were broken, the more came at him. The wound on his chest and ribs had already recovered, but Yi Chen's expression finally turned ugly. It turned out that the 2 black-robed bamboo hat men had caught up. Fighting with numbers, aren't you ashamed? A cudgel shadow flew out, smashing all the greenish-red chains and sending Ao Seng, who was on the other side, flying dozens of miles away. Who? Ao Cheng looked over. The sea of clouds below broke apart, and a black-haired human-shaped ape rushed up. He held a dark blue iron stick in his hand, and his bulging muscles seemed to be filled with explosive power. Sharp fangs protruded from his upper lip, and his pupils were abnormally fierce. Chapter 494. Ape Demonic Beast. It can talk. It was Yi Chen's first time seeing a demonic beast that could talk. Although demonic beasts could also talk after cultivating to the demonic king level, this black-furred human-shaped ape was clearly not a demonic king, but a 9th or 10th grade demonic beast. Its ability to talk might be due to its human-like appearance. It was also Wang Snake and Wang Mai's first time seeing a demonic beast that could talk, so they curiously stared at the human-shaped ape. "Who do you think you are? How dare you meddle in our Ao family's business?" Ao Seng flew over from dozens of li away, looking extremely miserable. The staff shadow had come too suddenly, and he couldn't even dodge it. What shocked him even more was that his protective Jin Yuan couldn't even withstand a single strike from the staff shadow, and he was directly sent flying dozens of li away, suffering a serious internal injury. The human-shaped ape pointed at Ao Seng and said arrogantly, "First, I am not a thing. My name is Sun Xiaojin. Second, I don't care if you are from the Ao family or whatever. In front of me, Sun Xiaojin, you are not worth mentioning. If I want to fight, I will fight. You'd better ask around about the background of my Ao family." Ao Cheng said with a gloomy face. Sun Xiaojin glanced at Ao Cheng. "What? Is your Ao family very powerful?" The two black-clothed bamboo hat experts who had just arrived were infuriated. "My Ao family is the royal family among the demonic beast families. We have a demonic beast king and over 5 master-level elders. If you leave now, you'll still have a chance to turn back. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. So, you're a demonic beast. No wonder you're so arrogant. However, your grandpa is a genuine demonic beast. Eat my staff." Sun Xiaojin's words were strange, and his expression was insolent. He raised his dark cyan staff high and smashed it toward Ao Cheng and the other 3. Boom, boom, boom. As the staff descended, countless staff shadows burst forth, seeming like a heavenly river descending with a majestic aura. Bastard! Ao Cheng didn't expect Sun Xiaojin to attack without any hesitation. He didn't put the Ao family in his eyes at all. He roared angrily and activated his Jin Yuan with all his strength. Immediately, numerous cyan-red chains interweaved together, forming a huge chain net that tightly protected his body. Ao Seng had suffered at Sun Xiaojin's hands before, so he hurriedly circulated his power and threw out a huge demonic wolf claw. The demonic wolf claw flickered with a pale green light as it clashed with the stick shadow. The other 2 bamboo hat men worked together to defend, waiting for an opportunity to counterattack. "Little ones, it's not over yet. Fly." The muscles on Sun Xiaojin's arms rapidly expanded, and the iron stick in his hands became as light as a feather. He instantly changed from a vertical chop to a horizontal sweep. Bang! The 4C of Spirit Realm half-beasts were sent flying, and the 2 black-robed men who had just joined in vomited blood. Such powerful strength. Ao Cheng's pupils shrank. This human-shaped ape that could speak was so strong that it made one's hair stand on end. It didn't seem as simple as an ordinary demonic beast. "Beast, don't be too arrogant." Ao Seng was, after all, the 6th elder of the Ao clan. His strength was not to be underestimated. With a slight shake of his body, the cyan-eyed white wolf behind him roared towards the sky. A terrifying pressure spreading out for dozens of li. His hands quickly formed a series of hand seals. As the hand seals were completed, a cyan light ball gradually formed in the cyan-eyed white wolf's mouth. The inside of the ball was black. "Go!" With a swoosh, the light ball turned into a beam of light and shot toward Sun Xiaojin. Insignificant skill. Sun Xiaojin grinned as his iron stick struck the front of the light beam. Like a thunderclap, the light beam was immediately shattered. Sun Xiaojin couldn't help but take a dozen steps back, his tall and sturdy body looking majestic. At the same time as Ao Seng attacked, the 2 black-robed bamboo hat men also launched a fierce attack. Boundless Jin Yuan drowned Sun Xiaojin. Bind. Ao Cheng was the last to attack. As soon as he did so, an earth-shattering cyan-red chain shot out, binding Sun Xiaojin, who had just broken free, like a rice dumpling. Seeing this, Ao Seng and the two black-robed bamboo hat men let out a sigh of relief. In terms of battle power, this human-shaped ape was almost equivalent to a Daoist-level expert. His monstrous strength was indeed impressive. However, after being bound by hundreds of cyan-red chains, he wouldn't be able to break free no matter how powerful he was. A mocking expression appeared on Sun Xiaojin's face. "You want to trap me with just this? Big, big, big." Every time he uttered the word big, Sun Xiaojin's body would expand by 10 times. After uttering the word 3 times, he had already become a 3,000-meter-tall horrifying giant ape. Even the shortest black hair on his body was hundreds of meters long and as thick as a bowl, shining with a metallic black luster. His pair of red eyes were like 2 red stars in the sky, shooting out beams of light that were thousands of meters long. As for the chains that bound Sun Xiaojin, they had already been broken into pieces. "I forgot to tell you guys, this is my true battle form." With a thunderous voice, Sun Xiaojin looked down at the 4. "So big." Wang Snake was dumbfounded. Sun Xiaojin, who was standing in the sky, was simply too big. The clouds were curling around his body, looking like countless white ribbons. The air coming out of his nostrils was like a whirlwind, causing the whole area to be filled with violent gales and wind blades. Yi Chen was also quite surprised. This ape was indeed abnormal. Not only could it speak human language, it could also change its size, increasing its battle power by several folds. Boom! Without using any treasures, Sun Xiaojin formed a fist with his right hand and punched out with his hill-sized fist, bringing up astral winds and even creating wind, fire, thunder, and water. Not good. Retreat. The 4's faces turned pale as they backed off madly. However, even though they backed off fast, Sun Xiaojin's fist speed was even faster. In less than 1/10 of the blink of an eye, the 4's bodies were instantly hit. Pooh! Ao Cheng and Ao Seng puked out a huge mouthful of blood, looking extremely weak. The other 2 black-robed men were even worse. They directly fainted, and no one knew if they were still alive or dead. Retreat! Without another word, Ao Cheng grabbed one of the black-robed men and ran out. Ao Seng followed closely behind, also grabbing a black-robed man. "Next time you see your grandpa Sun Xiaojin, remember to hide far away." Sun Xiaojin seemed to be reckless, but he knew better than anyone else that wounding the 4 was fine, but killing the 4 was not a good idea. The blue-eyed white wolf shadow behind the 4 was not some ordinary thing. It was a powerful demonic beast king from the ancient era. How could its descendants be ordinary? He had not reached the level where he could kill anyone he wanted to. Many thanks for Brother Sun's help. I am Yi Chen. Right then, Yi Chen flew over with the other 2 and cupped his fists. His body suddenly shrunk to 3 meters tall as he chuckled, "I just don't like them, especially the aura on their bodies." Yi Chen froze for a second, but soon realized what was going on. Demonic beasts always had a bad temper. When 2 equally powerful demonic beasts ran into each other, a huge battle might break out. Obviously, the blue-eyed white wolf bloodline inside the Ao family people made Sun Xiaojin very uncomfortable, which was why he decided to suppress them. Of course, no matter what their intentions were, it was a fact that they had helped him beat back the Ao family's people. "Your 2 friends seem to be half-beasts as well." Sun Xiaojin frowned as a vicious light flashed through his eyes. Yi Chen was shocked, not knowing what Sun Xiaojin meant. "Don't worry, as long as they don't provoke me, Sun Xiaojin, it will be fine. Also, it would be best if they don't release their bloodline power in front of me." Hearing these words, Yi Chen let out a sigh. This Sun Xiaojin's temperament was truly eccentric, making people scratch their heads in confusion. "You 3 should have come from True Spirit Continent, right?" Sun Xiaojin asked. "Right." Yi Chen faintly nodded. "Then you'd better be careful. This boundless ocean is extremely dangerous. Even I don't dare to wander around. I can only wander around familiar places. Why don't you come with me to the Water Ape Cave? My Water Ape clan is very hospitable, and it's been a long time since we had a guest." "Water Ape Cave, is it under the sea?" Wang Shi asked curiously. "Just follow me." Sun Xiaojin's temperament dictated that he didn't care whether the others agreed or not. He directly flew toward the sea under the clouds. "Let's go," Yi Chen said to the two after a slight hesitation. Previously, it was night time, so Yi Chen didn't have much of an observation of the boundless ocean. But now that the sun had risen, the three could immediately feel the depth and vastness of the ocean. Black waves rose and fell, easily reaching 1,000 meters in height. Sailing on this ocean, even a 10,000-meter-long ship would be overturned and torn apart. As far as the eye could see, the boundless ocean gave off a berserk oppressive feeling. With a water-breaking sound, the three humans and one beast dove into the seabed. After diving for around 50,000 meters, an underwater mountain range appeared in front of them. This mountain range was thousands of meters high and stretched out for an unknown distance. On the cliff, there was a giant cave entrance. The cave entrance was sealed by a barrier of light. Above the cave entrance were 4 large golden words, Water Ape Cave Mansion. "This is the cave of my Water Ape clan." Sun Xiaojin introduced the place to the three while greeting the high-level demonic beasts wandering near the huge mountain. He then dove into the light membrane. Yi Chen and the other two also followed him in. After passing through the light membrane, the water flow suddenly disappeared, and was replaced by a wide and grand inner space. There were mountains, rivers, forests, buildings, and a large number of grey apes. These grey apes looked quite similar to Sun Xiaojin, and were obviously from the same demonic beast race. However, the evil chi on their bodies was a lot weaker than Sun Xiaojin's, even if some of them were not weaker than Sun Xiaojin's. They are all members of the Water Ape clan, but their bloodline is not as high as mine. They are merely ordinary water apes. As he spoke up to hear, Sun Xiaojin seemed extremely proud, not concealing his complacency in the slightest. Yi Chen rubbed his chin. In his opinion, these grey apes were not ordinary demonic beasts. They were several grades higher than the demonic beasts commonly seen on the continent, and their bloodline was extremely ancient. "Xiao Jin, you sneaked out to play again. Who are they?" A human and 2 half-beasts. A few grey apes surrounded them, and the old ape in the lead said in bewilderment. Sun Xiaojin said, "Second Grandpa Sun, they are my guests. Don't make things difficult for them. Xiao Jin, is it not enough for you to have us as your friends? Why do you have to make friends with humans?" Sun Xiaojin raised his head. "Who I want to make friends with is none of your business." Yi Chen chuckled inwardly. It seemed like this Sun Xiaojin was the little tyrant of the Water Ape clan. Chapter 495. After getting rid of the young grey ape, Sun Xiaojin brought Yi Chen and the other two to a stone hall. The hall was extremely vast, dozens of meters tall and 1,000 meters long. There were many stone tables and chairs in the hall, as well as countless colorful fruits. "These are the specialties of our Water Ape mansion. Some of them can replenish physical strength and blood chi. You guys eat as much as you want." Sun Xiaojin grabbed a head-sized green fruit and fiercely took a bite. Yi Chen thought for a moment, then said, "Brother Sun, isn't it a bit inappropriate for you to bring us to Water Ape Mansion so casually? Don't worry, you can focus on healing here. No one will disturb you. If you were outside, I can guarantee that you wouldn't live for more than 3 days. Many thanks." Yi Chen cupped his fists. The most important reason why he followed Sun Xiaojin to Water Ape Mansion was because his battle strength had been greatly reduced. Not to mention protecting Wang Snake and Wang Mai, he couldn't even protect himself. Moreover, in this boundless ocean, finding a place to cultivate was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Who knew, an ocean beast might tear you apart. Therefore, being a guest in Water Ape Mansion was the best choice. Wang Snake was a pure and honest person. Seeing Sun Xiaojin's loyalty, he couldn't help but ask, "Brother Sun, that Ao family is the king of demi-beast clans. Aren't you afraid of their revenge?" Sun Xiaojin's mouth twitched. "There's no need to worry about this. Their Ao family is the overlord of True Spirit Continent. In the boundless ocean, even a dragon would have to coil up, and even a tiger would have to lie down. Although my Water Ape clan is weak, we're a member of the Southern Shallow Ocean Alliance, which has a total of 6 leaders, all of whom are demonic kings. Would their AO family's demonic king dare to come? South Shallow Ocean Alliance. This was the first time Yi Chen had heard of it. Sun Xiaojin explained, the 30 million miles of ocean surrounding True Spirit continent are all shallow oceans, which are divided into the Eastern Shallow Ocean, Southern Shallow Ocean, Western Shallow Ocean, and Northern Shallow Ocean. The Eastern Shallow Ocean has 5 major powers, and the most powerful one is the Dragon God Celestial Palace. The Southern Shallow Ocean has formed a Southern Shallow Ocean Alliance. The Western Shallow Ocean and Northern Shallow Ocean are too chaotic, and the powers are too complicated. Isn't Dragon God Celestial Palace a continent power? Why are you in the Eastern Shallow Sea? Yi Chen raised his brows and asked. The members of Dragon God Celestial Palace are very complicated. There are all kinds of races inside. There are humans, half-beasts, demonic beasts, and demigiants. The one on True Spirit continent is only a branch of Dragon God Celestial Palace, and all of them are humans. Of course, this is what my grandfather told me. I see. Yi Chen was enlightened. Speaking of which, Dragon God Celestial Palace is also on the verge of collapse. Previously, Old Dragon King was strong and could suppress the situation. However, his days are numbered. Once he dies, the whole palace will be doomed, and the other 4 forces will definitely rush in. That's right. How many years do you have left, Dragon King? It's hard to say. Some people say that he only has a few years left, and some say that he can live for more than 10 years. Do you know how old the old Dragon King was? He lived for 1,010 years. I really don't know how he broke through the limit of human life and death. It's so strange. Perhaps he took some miraculous medicine to increase his lifespan. Sun Xiaojin shook his head. No, 1,000 years is the limit of human kings. They are not like you human Sea of Soul Realm experts, who can use some methods to prolong their lifespan. Yi Chen was speechless. It seemed like Dragon God Celestial Palace was not in a good situation. Fortunately, they didn't bring the disaster to South Rudra sect. Otherwise, they would have one more enemy. What's the point of talking about this? It's too far away from us. Wait until I become a beast king, then I'll have the qualifications to stir things up. For now, just stay in the Southern Shallow Ocean. Sun Xiaojin's fighting spirit was restrained in his eyes. After eating dozens of big fruits in a row, Sun Xiaojin stood up and said, "Let's go, I will find a room for you to rest in. After you have rested, you can walk around. If you run into any trouble, just say my name." Sorry for the trouble. Yi Chen ate 2 fruits and felt much better. He couldn't help but praise the abundant specialties of Water Ape Cave. Even the fruits were spirit medicines. The room Sun Xiaojin spoke of was actually a stone chamber. However, it was very spacious and grand, not the least bit inferior to human buildings. Inside the stone chamber, Yi Chen sized up his surroundings, but his thoughts seemed to have drifted off somewhere. Even if Dragon King is powerful, he can't escape death. Before the rules of heaven and earth, everyone is equal. True Spirit continent is vast, and the boundless ocean is countless times larger than True Spirit continent. Just as Sun Xiaojin said, only by becoming a king can one have the qualifications to participate. Otherwise, one's life would be in danger. That's right, Dragon King, you can't escape death. Everyone is equal before the rules of heaven and earth. True Spirit continent is vast, and the boundless ocean is countless times larger. Just as Sun Xiaojin said, only kings have the qualifications to participate. Become a king. Yi Chen fiercely let out a breath. He had never had such an intense desire to become powerful. In the past, he only wanted to become powerful and improve step by step. But now, he desired to reach a higher level and participate in those magnificent battles. Right now, he was in the chess game, and one day, he would become the player. A week passed by quickly. After a week of bitter training, he had completely purified the impurities in his Zhen Yuan, restoring it to its peak state. Not only that, but his undying body had also made a new breakthrough. He had successfully branded the soul imprint on his right leg. Right now, besides his arms and head, the first layer of the undying body, flesh recovery, was almost 80% complete. It was a godly improvement. Yi Chen, are you there? Sun Xiaojin's voice came from outside. Yi Chen tidied up his clothes and walked out. Brother Sun, what's the matter? My grandfather wants to see you. Your grandfather is the leader of Water Ape Clan? Yes, follow me. All right. Passing through a huge stone corridor and the lobby, Yi Chen followed Sun Xiaojin to the back of the lobby. Behind the lobby was a huge lake with a few thousand meters long arch bridge. If one looked carefully, they would be able to see some horrifying fish-type demonic beasts in the lake. These fish-type demonic beasts had red eyes, as if they had just drunk blood. Walking on the arch bridge, Sun Xiaojin said, My grandfather is a half-step beast king. But, you do not need to be too cautious. Our Water Ape Clan has very few rules. Yi Chen nodded. Up until now, he had met 4 king warriors in total, the Dragon King, the Black Thunder King, the Beast King, and the Shining King. As for the mysterious queen he met in the parallel space battlefield, it was only a projection of her willpower, not her real body. At the end of the arch bridge was a stone palace. The two stopped in front of the palace. Grandpa, I have brought the people. Sun Xiaojin said loudly. Both of you, come in. A deep and slightly aged voice rang out. Hearing this, Yi Chen and Sun Xiaojin stepped into the palace. The palace was spacious, and a tall human figure was sitting on the main seat. Judging by the naked eye, the figure was 3 meters tall even when sitting, and at least 5 meters tall when standing up. Raising his head, Yi Chen looked at the leader of the Water Ape Clan. The leader of the Water Ape Clan was even more similar to a human than he had imagined. Apart from his larger body, longer tusks, and thicker hair on his arms and legs, he was no different from a human. His face still had some wrinkles, and his ruddy face had a steel-like luster. So, you are Yi Chen. The leader of the Water Ape Clan smiled. Yi Chen bowed and cupped his fists. Yi Chen greets the leader. No need to be so polite. I don't like it. My real name is Sun Tai. You can just call me Senior Sunday. The leader of the Water Ape Clan seemed to care a lot about Yi Chen. If it were someone else, he wouldn't have told him his real name. After all, how could a senior tell a junior his name? In fact, even Sun Xiaojin was quite surprised, not knowing what his grandpa was thinking. Hearing this, Yi Chen said, Senior Sunday. All right, sit down. Let's have a good chat. Sun Tai laughed heartily. Yi Chen sat down next to Sun Xiaojin as he was told. I heard that you were chased by the Ao family to the boundless ocean. What happened exactly? Sun Tai asked some irrelevant questions. The Ao family annihilated the clans of my 2 friends. Yi Chen couldn't bear to see them die, so he brought them and fled to the boundless ocean. Yi Chen briefly explained the cause and course of events. Sun Tai faintly nodded. I can tell that your relationship with these 2 friends of yours isn't very deep. To think that you didn't abandon them at the critical moment, and even brought them to the boundless ocean from True Spirit Continent. This is enough to prove your character. My Water Ape Clan values loyalty the most. From now on, the Water Ape Clan will be your home. You can come and go as you please. Hearing Sun Tai's words, Yi Chen was quite astonished. What virtue or ability did he have to be valued so highly by the leader of the Water Ape Clan? This was simply beyond his imagination. My Water Ape Clan has existed since the Middle Ages. Even the lowest aptitude in our clan is mid-grade. The best aptitude is me and Xiao Jin, both of us upper-grade aptitude. Perhaps you don't know much about the aptitude grades of demonic beasts. To put it simply, the majority of the demonic beasts you see on the continent are all lower-grade aptitude with little potential. Those that can reach mid-grade aptitude usually have a trace of ancient demonic beasts' bloodline, and have hopes of becoming 9th-grade demonic beasts, or even 10th-grade demonic beasts. Upper-grade aptitude is a branch of ancient powerful demonic beasts. Upon reaching adulthood, they can become 9th-grade demonic beasts, and their chances of becoming demonic kings are also very high. Your 2 friends have the bloodline of 9-headed serpent, which is the same as us, upper-grade aptitude. Of course, 9-headed serpents are at the peak of upper-grade aptitude, much stronger than us. Otherwise, they wouldn't have become peerless demonic kings. Pausing for a moment, Sun Tai continued, perhaps you're wondering why I'm so close to you. Yi Chen wanted to know the reason as well. Our water ape clan doesn't lie. From the moment you entered the water ape cave, I've sensed your existence. You have the aura of a true dragon on your body, and you have a huge potential. Along with that, you also have a sky-piercing sword intent. It's a miracle for such a sword intent to appear at your current realm. Right now, there are signs that the world is going to be in chaos. Our water ape clan can't stay out of it, and we can't stay out of it either. Befriending a true dragon-level genius is a very important thing for our water ape clan. I believe you've already experienced such a thing before. Sun Tai was very honest, not hiding anything. Yi Chen remained silent. He had indeed experienced such a thing before. The Dragon King and Xianhu both had high expectations for him. But nothing could happen without a reason. It was impossible for them to look forward to you and take care of you for no reason. You were not the son of heaven, so why would others treat you well? Therefore, there must be a reason for them to treat you well. If he wanted others to continue treating him well, then he would have to show that he was more talented than the others. Otherwise, he didn't believe that the Dragon King would take care of him and look forward to him like this. After all, they didn't have any relationship at all. You won't feel uncomfortable hearing me say this, right? Sun Tai looked at Yi Chen. Yi Chen shook his head and said with a smile, "It seems that I and the Water Ape clan are quite congenial. I like to be straightforward, and not fake." Good. Sun Tai admired Yi Chen very much. In fact, he admired him even more than before. Tomorrow, he would have to wake up at 5 o'clock and go out to do some errands. Chapter 496. Senior son, I have a favor to ask. As they chatted happily, Yi Chen suddenly thought of something. What is it? If I can help, I, Sun Tai, will definitely help. Those two friends of mine. I wonder if they can stay in the water ape cave. They are being chased by the Ao family, and I cannot protect them by myself. Of course, if they bring trouble to the water ape race, I will think of something else. Letting out a breath, Yi Chen said what he was thinking. Wang Snake and Wang Mai were way too weak compared to him, and they would only be a burden if he brought them along. For example, if it were not for them, Yi Chen would not have to run so hard. If he could not beat them, he could easily run away. If it were a head-on battle, he would definitely be able to wound one or two of them badly before leaving. Sun Tai laughed. I thought it was something serious. All right, don't worry. They will be very happy in my water ape cave. As for trouble, I am not afraid of it. Even if it is that demi-beast king from the Ao family, I am confident that I can exchange 100 or 200 attacks with him. Thank you so much. Yi Chen felt a lot more relaxed. With the two extra people around him, he felt like he could not use all of his power. Oh right, here are 5 spirit power stones. I found them on a human life and death realm warrior's body by chance. They are useless to us water ape race, so I will give them to you. Sun Tai pushed out his palm slightly, and 10 red light spots shot toward Yi Chen. Waving his hand in a semicircle, Yi Chen collected the red light spots. Looking at them closely, he realized that these 10 red spirit power stones were all thumb-sized. They were crystal clear and had a rich energy. Most importantly, they were not like the spirit power stones from the parallel space battlefields. The essence inside them had not been lost, but they were much heavier. This. Yi Chen lifted up his head to look at Sun Tai. This gift was way too expensive. Sun Tai shook his head, trying to tie you to the chariot with only one sentence. Our water ape race would not do such a thing. If there is an investment, there will be a return. This is our principle. Thank you, Senior Sunday. In the future, Yi Chen will be a solid ally of our water ape race. Right now, Yi Chen is not qualified yet. Yi Chen said from the bottom of his heart. After discussing business, the three of them chatted about some trivial matters until late at night. For the next half a month, Yi Chen continued to absorb the spiritual energy from the crystals. Unlike the last time, the spiritual energy contained in the crystals was several times purer than before, and it was also several times more difficult to absorb. Every time he absorbed a crystal, Yi Chen had to spend 2 days to consolidate it before he continued to absorb the second, third. Half a month later, Yi Chen's body ignited with a red qi flow. The qi flow seemed to have a mind of its own as it crazily shuttled through Yi Chen's body. Flesh, blood, bones, marrow, they were everywhere. As the qi flow penetrated and vibrated, Yi Chen could feel some impurities that were preventing his body from reaching perfection being expelled and crushed. His entire body seemed to be on the verge of awakening, full of vitality. This smell is a little fishy. Opening his eyes, Yi Chen felt sticky all over his body. He took off his clothes and saw that his skin was covered with a layer of oil. This oil did not have any harmful effect on a warrior's Jin Yuan cultivation, but it was an obstacle for a warrior to cultivate a spirit body, and it was very hard to get rid of it. There was a bath in the stone room, and the water in the bath was circulating. Jumping into the bath, Yi Chen could not help but moan as his eyebrows relaxed. The 5 crystals that Senior Sun gave me contain a huge amount of spiritual energy essence, which is even more precious than the 50 crystals in the parallel space battlefield. Thanks to Senior Sun, I have already cultivated my spirit body to 99%. I only need to spend a little more time to consolidate my spiritual energy, and then I can officially cultivate it. Clenching his fists, Yi Chen punched the stone wall in front of him. Pooh! The surface of the stone wall seemed to have turned into powder as it slid down. If people with good eyesight were here, they would be able to tell that Yi Chen did not use any of his Jin Yuan, will power, or power. In fact, the power contained in that punch would not even be able to beat down a kid, because there was no power in it at all. But even in this kind of situation, Yi Chen was still able to break the surface of the stone wall. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth as Yi Chen thought to himself, the gate between the astral reaching realm and the Sea of Souls realm is called the mortal transformation gate. Once the spirit body is formed, it means that one has passed half of the mortal transformation gate. Then, one's body would be like a great weapon, containing a bit of power. With only this power, one would be able to create damage. The advantage of cultivating the spirit body before the Sea of Souls realm is that the total amount of Jin Yuan would no longer be limited, and there would be more room for improvement. Before, when I trained my Green Lotus sword spell to the 14th level, it only made my Jin Yuan a lot purer, but the total amount did not change. But now, it is different. The total amount of Jin Yuan is slowly increasing, and it is approaching the limit of the 14th level of the Green Lotus sword spell. Of course, I have not officially cultivated the spirit body yet, so the effect is still 20 to 30% weaker. After cleaning up the dirt on his body, Yi Chen walked out of the bath and changed into clean clothes. On the second day, the cultivation speed of the undying body has increased. What is going on? As usual, Yi Chen continued to cultivate the undying body. However, today's cultivation speed surprised him quite a bit. This kind of speed was not much slower than when he was in danger. It had only been half a day, and Yi Chen could feel that his right arm was about to be branded with the soul mark. Is it because of my body? Apart from cultivating the spirit body, Yi Chen's body hadn't experienced any changes lately. Therefore, he immediately found the most likely reason. It was known to all that only life and death realm warriors could comprehend the undying body. Although the first level of the undying body that Yi Chen had obtained was flesh healing, which was one level weaker than limb regrowth, it was still extremely difficult. He would need to reach the Sea of Souls realm at least to cultivate it properly. The question was, why did he have to reach the Sea of Souls realm? There were a few gaps between the Sea of Souls realm and the astral reaching realm, the soul gap, the Jin Yuan gap, and the physical gap. Cultivating the undying body required the body to be branded with the soul mark. Therefore, the soul and the body were especially important. And, Yi Chen's soul was his advantage, which was no weaker than the majority of Sea of Souls realm warriors. In other words, what Yi Chen lacked was the body. Now that his body was about to be replenished, the cultivation speed of the undying body would naturally increase. I see. Finding the reason, Yi Chen's face revealed a joyful expression. The spirit body was only one step away from completion, and the flesh healing was also just a little bit away. If he succeeded in both, even if his power didn't seem to have made any progress, his ability to protect himself would increase by 10 times. If he encountered an opponent at the same level, the The one who would die would be the opponent, and not him. 1 against 2, 1 against 3, would not be a problem at all. Time flew, and another half a month passed in a flash. Woo! An astonishing soul ripple appeared on Yi Chen's body. The soul ripple was exceptionally complete, covering his whole body. Meanwhile, Yi Chen's aura seemed to be pulled by an invisible thread, which moved his whole body without any loopholes. The first level of flesh healing has finally been completed. Opening his eyes, the first thing that Yi Chen did was to take out a dagger and stab it into his chest. Pooh! Fresh blood blossomed and splashed out. In the next second, the blood that contained the soul ripple flowed back into his body, and the wound on his chest quickly healed. Touching his chest, Yi Chen didn't feel anything strange at all. Flesh healing. I didn't expect that I could complete it so quickly. I thought it would take me a couple of years. When he got the cultivation method of the immortal body, Yi Chen had already prepared himself mentally. No matter how hard it would be, he would continue to cultivate it. Completing it within 2 to 3 months was definitely a pleasant surprise. Phew! Letting out a long breath, Yi Chen mumbled to himself, the second level of the immortal body is to regrow broken limbs. I don't dare to think about it for now. It's good that I don't have to spend so much time cultivating the immortal body, and I can spend more time improving other aspects. 3,000 miles away from the water ape's cave, the seawater was pitch black, and one couldn't even see their own fingers. Deep under the sea, there was a faint light flickering. It was a kind of glowing crystal coral. Floating in the seawater, one couldn't see the sky or the ground. In such an environment, it was easy to develop feelings of despair and pessimism. It was like being isolated from the world, and all 5 senses had lost their function. Only the soul was left to question itself. Closing his eyes tightly, Yi Chen flicked his finger on the long emerald sword. Ting! The metallic sound lingered in his ears, and it seemed to contain some kind of mystery. What is that sound? Who dares to cause trouble in my, Pang Sa's, territory? There were many vassal beasts around the water ape's cave, and the rank 9 green pincer crab was one of them. The green pincer crab had always been tyrannical. Relying on its high defense and close combat ability, it didn't care about other beasts. Only the water ape in the water ape's cave could control it. Therefore, when it heard that someone dared to cause trouble in its territory, it was very angry. Pop! Moving its 8 legs quickly, the green pincer crab followed the sound and dashed out. Soon, the green pincer crab saw the culprit. It was a human in blue, and the source of the sound was his sword. The green pincer crab's finger tapped on it, and the sword vibrated. The sound spread out in all directions. The green pincer crab didn't know how to speak, so it could only wave its huge green pincer to create the rumbling sound of water to warn the other party. Bastard! How dare you ignore me? Seeing that Yi Chen still had his eyes closed and was still flicking the sword, the green pincer crab was so angry that it spat out a powerful water current. Yi Chen, who had his eyes closed, moved his left foot slightly, avoiding the water current. The green pincer crab was just about to rush up and cut the other party into pieces when Yi Chen suddenly opened his eyes. As he opened his eyes, 2 beams of light red light shot out, lighting up a large area of seawater. Cut! Holding the sword high with both hands, the sword first shone with a green light, then a golden light. The green light and the golden light intertwined, and the seawater within 10 meters was immediately squeezed out, forming a spherical vacuum. Inside the vacuum, Yi Chen hacked down heavily. Boom! The seawater was stirred up, and a dazzling beam of sword light radiated out, spreading to an unknown distance. In silence, the seawater was separated by 100 meters, like a deep chasm. The green pincer crab on the side was shaken several miles away. It was dumbfounded, and its huge green pincer drooped down. Its eyes were full of fear and fear. If it had rushed up carelessly, there wouldn't have been anything left of it. The green pincer crab thought to itself. Putting the long sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen did not look at the green pincer crab as he thought to himself, after a week, my gold resonant radiant sword art has finally been trained to 50%, and its power has increased by 50%. Now, it's time to move on to the gold profound. After staying in the water ape's cave for more than a month, Yi Chen had made a lot of progress. First, he had trained his spirit body to 99%, and he was only one step away from completing it. Then, he had trained his gold resonant radiance sword art to 50% as well, which was almost an improvement in every aspect. Shoo! Turning around, Yi Chen flew toward the direction of the water ape's cave. He is gone. The green pincer crab let out a breath and hurried back to its cave. It thought that Yi Chen must have forgotten about its existence, and once the latter remembered, it would be doomed. So, it had to leave as soon as possible and not give the latter any chance. Chapter 497. Back in the cave, Yi Chen came to the stone room. There were a lot of water apes gathered in the hall. These water apes had grey fur and red pupils. Every one of them was 2 to 3 meters tall, and a few of them were even more than 4 meters tall, second only to the leader of the water ape race, Sun Tai. Judging from their aura, these 4 meters tall water apes were all rank 10 beasts. Yi Chen, us beasts are not as good as you humans in terms of martial arts. It is extremely hard for us to learn the mentality. You are a genius among humans, so you should be very good at this. Do you have the guts to compete with me, Kong Xiaohui? A young rank 8 water ape walked out. Yi Chen knew that he did not mean any harm, but his rank was too low. He said, although we are at the same rank, you will not be my opponent. Do not underestimate me. Us water apes are not normal beasts. Our talents are all above the mid-rank. Those low-rank beasts cannot compete with us. The young water ape was a bit angry. If that is the case, then bring it on. Other than having a bad temper, water apes were also stubborn. There was no point in talking anymore, so Yi Chen had to let him know the gap between them. On the empty ground outside of the room, Yi Chen and the young water ape stood 100 meters away from each other, surrounded by a large number of other water apes. They were chatting and whispering to each other. Who do you guys think will win, Xiaohui or Yi Chen? Of course, it would be Xiaohui. Battling at the same level, the beasts usually have the advantage. Even if Yi Chen is a martial genius among humans, Xiaohui is also a martial genius of our water ape race. Plus, our water apes are all mid-rank. Hard to say. We will not know until we fight. The battle is about to begin. Hearing this, the other water apes all quieted down. Take this. His grey fur danced in the air as Kong Xiaohui raised his bowl-sized fist and rushed out like an arrow, throwing a punch at Yi Chen. As this punch was thrown out, a large amount of water yuan qi gathered over, turning into streams of water that swirled around Kong Xiaohui's fist crazily. A powerful beast power vibration exploded. Back out. Yi Chen did not move his body. He put up his right index and middle fingers and pointed at Kong Xiaohui's fist. Bang! The water exploded, and Kong Xiaohui was sent flying backward. Much of his grey hair was cut off by the invisible sword qi, and his hair flew everywhere. Damn it, big. Kong Xiaohui's face turned purple, and his 2.5 meter tall body suddenly expanded to 25 meters tall, then 250 meters tall. His crimson eyes shot out 2 beams of light, like 2 searchlights, and his nostrils blew out like a whirlwind. Take another punch from me. Kong Xiaohui did not need to move at all. He simply stood on the spot and punched out. His arm, which was over 100 meters long, crossed the distance between the two of them and instantly arrived before Yi Chen. What was even more terrifying was that in battle, the water ape's demonic energy multiplied. The tip of his fist was filled with water and lightning, like a series of exploding fireworks. Kong Xiaohui didn't need to move, and neither did Yi Chen. He pointed his finger at the center of Kong Xiaohui's fist. Roar! The sound of a sword ringing could be heard. All the water apes could clearly see a huge illusory sword condensed on top of Yi Chen's sword fingers. The next second, the water current and lightning on Kong Xiaohui's fist were directly shaved off, and the grey hair on his entire arm was also shaved off, leaving him bald. Then, he was sent flying backwards, crashing into a mountain. Gasp! The sound of people gasping was heard, and all the water apes looked shocked. Kong Xiaohui was a peak level 8 water ape, while Yi Chen was a peak level astral reaching realm warrior. The two were at the same level, but their battling power was worlds apart. Kong Xiaohui couldn't even handle one finger sword attack from Yi Chen. Yi Chen, Kong Daily, would like to see what you can do. Kong Xiaohui was already one of the top geniuses among the rank 8 water apes. If even he couldn't handle one attack from Yi Chen, then it would be embarrassing for the others. Therefore, no rank 8 water ape stood out. Instead, it was a rank 9 water ape. He had changed into his battle mode right from the start, reaching 2,800 meters tall. His eyes were like stars. Besides not being as aggressive as Sun Xiaojin, his aura was not bad either. Don't worry. The water ape cave has a restrictive power covering it. You and I can fight as much as we want. Kong Daily looked down at Yi Chen. Yi Chen held his sword handle and said, "No need for all this trouble. If you can handle this sword attack of mine, then I will lose." The water ape race had always been straightforward, and Yi Chen didn't beat around the bush either. Too arrogant. Let's see how I, Kong Daily, beat you. Kong Daily crossed his arms, and suddenly pulled them apart. A violent demonic power surged out, and all the grey fur on his body stood erect. His entire ape body seemed to have swelled up a lot. It could no longer be described as awe-inspiring, but rather terrifying, just like a berserk beast. Ape Roar Bomb. Opening his bloody mouth, Kong Daily shot out a bright light wave at Yi Chen. It was crystal clear, and the energy was highly concentrated. Shoo! Yi Chen's body kept moving. He took a step forward, crossing the light wave and arriving above Kong Daily's head. Amaranthine nature. The emerald longsword was taken out of its scabbard. A flame-like blue light gathered on the tip of the sword as it stabbed onto Kong Daily's forehead. Pop! The sword tip did not manage to stab through, but the attacking power was endless. No matter how much beast power Kong Daily used, it was still useless. His huge ape body rolled a couple of times on the ground, and a huge amount of hair on his forehead had been shaved off. Putting the sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen's body flashed once before returning to where he was standing. Is this guy really a human? He beat Daily beyond his realm. This is so horrifying. It seems like among the young generation of our water ape race, only Xiao Jin could beat him. The others would not be able to do so. Yeah. Once Xiao Jin turns into his battling mode, he would be invincible within the same realm. But he has not reached the Sea of Souls realm yet. Once he becomes a Sea of Souls realm warrior, I wonder how powerful he would be. Yi Chen's power had shocked all of the water apes. In their minds, human beings had always been relatively weak, and their Jin Yuan was extremely thin. Of course, the purification effect of human martial arts was also horrifying. Jin Yuan was many times purer than their beast power, which made up for some of the disadvantages. However, the difference in quantity was still too huge. What are you guys doing? Sun Xiaojin, who was not the tallest but had a horrifying aggressive aura, walked over. Xiaojin, this Yi Chen is more powerful than we thought. Why don't you show your power as well? A young water ape tried to encourage Sun Xiaojin. Sun Xiaojin rolled his eyes. Idiot. Of course, he is powerful. Otherwise, how could Grandpa pick him? Show me some power. Which one of you can take one stick attack from me? Yi Chen. My cultivation is one realm higher than his. Even if I win, it would not be a good thing. Wait until he becomes a Sea of Souls realm warrior, then I will battle with him, but not now. Hearing him, all of the young water apes were disappointed. Sun Xiaojin was proud, and it would be impossible for him to battle with Yi Chen, who was one realm lower than him. Yi Chen forced a smile and said, I am not Brother Sun's opponent. There is no doubt about it. Battling with a higher realm would also depend on the opponent. Sun Xiaojin had top rank potential, and when he changed into his battle mode, he had wounded 4 Sea of Souls realm demi-beasts with one punch. And, it was still under the condition that he had not used all of his power. No matter how arrogant Yi Chen was, he had to admit that he was not Sun Xiaojin's opponent at all. Yi Chen, come with me. I will take you to a good training place. Sun Xiaojin suddenly said. What place? Follow me and you will know. All right. Yi Chen nodded and followed Sun Xiaojin out of the water ape cave. After leaving the water ape cave, the two broke out of the water and flew toward the northwest direction. After flying for hundreds of thousands of miles, the two arrived at an ocean with a creepy aura. The environment of this ocean was extremely bad, and there were countless deep ocean swirls on the surface of the ocean. They varied in size, with the biggest ones being hundreds of kilometers in size while the smallest ones were only dozens of meters in size. In the sky, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The tornado brought up water columns, shooting up into the sky. That horrifying tearing power could definitely tear a normal astral-reaching realm warrior into pieces. "Let's go down." Waving his stick, Sun Xiaojin shattered a few miles thick water column and jumped into the ocean. Yi Chen followed him without hesitation. The undercurrents in the ocean were extremely turbulent, especially those swirls. Each of them had a horrifying suction power. Even a huge beast that was very far away had been dragged in and turned into meat paste. As the depth increased, the swirls got thinner and more condensed. They were completely transparent, like crystals. Yi Chen suspected that the swirls here could already kill Sea of Souls realm warriors and rank 9 beasts. Yi Chen's guess was not wrong. Sun Xiaojin warned, "Be careful of those swirls. Even I cannot guarantee that I will be unscathed after entering. Some of the mutated swirls are even more powerful, and the yuan qi inside has already been compressed into a solid state." "Brother Sun, where are we going?" Yi Chen asked. Sun Xiaojin said, "Have you ever heard of the undersea spiral tunnel?" "Nope." To put it simply, the undersea spiral tunnel can help you increase your martial art realm faster. The deeper you go, the more pressure you will face. Up until now, no one has ever been to the bottom, including king warriors. I heard that there is some kind of horrifying thing sealed inside. I wonder if it is true or not. Soon, the two arrived at the bottom of the ocean. In front of them was a grey light cover that had a diameter of hundreds of miles. There were a lot of beasts and humans standing inside. The South Shallow Sea Alliance has 6 leaders. 2 of them are humans, the Fierce Ocean King and the Blue Silver King. The martial institutions they lead are the Fierce Ocean School and the Silver Light Island. These people are all disciples of the latter. Sun Xiaojin introduced. Yi Chen had a weird expression on his face. It was his first time seeing so many people and so many beasts living together peacefully. Indeed, there was nothing impossible in this world. It is Sun Xiaojin from the water ape race. Who is that human right next to him? Being able to walk together with Sun Xiaojin, he must not be simple. Sun Xiaojin seemed to be quite famous. Before he had even arrived, he had already attracted a lot of attention. Even Yi Chen was being watched. In the human camp, there were also a lot of gazes that landed on Sun Xiaojin and Yi Chen. Seeing that Sun Xiaojin and Yi Chen were so close, they could not help but feel a bit jealous. Seeing this, Yi Chen rubbed his nose and looked at Sun Xiaojin, who was full of killing intent. His charm was way too great, and these humans were actually jealous of him. Chapter 498. In fact, it was not because of Sun Xiaojin's charm, but because of his great potential. All of the powerful parties in the South Shallow Sea Alliance had one requirement for their disciples, which was to avoid conflict with Sun Xiaojin as much as possible. If they could become normal friends with Sun Xiaojin, the power of the sect would focus on training them regardless of their potential. If they could become good friends with Sun Xiaojin, they would go from focusing on training to all-out training, regardless of the cost. Even if they were rotten wood, they would make sure that they could be gilded. Of course, to be able to become friends with Sun Xiaojin, even if it was just a normal friend, their strength would not be too low. Otherwise, the two would not even have a place to interact, let alone become friends. And the reason for all of this was Sun Xiaojin's potential. Top-rank potential was extremely rare even in the ancient era. According to the probability, out of 10 top-rank demonic beasts, at least 5 would be able to become demonic kings. In the water ape race, Sun Tai and Sun Xiaojin both had top-rank potential. Without any surprises, one of them would become demonic kings, or even both of them would become demonic kings. If that were the case, the big parties in the South Shallow Sea Alliance would not pay so much attention to Sun Xiaojin. Inside Sun Xiaojin's body, besides the water ape bloodline, there was an even more noble bloodline called the Red Gold Ape bloodline. It was one of the top ancient demonic beast bloodlines. Therefore, once Sun Xiaojin became a demonic king, he would completely activate the Red Gold Evil Ape bloodline and become a powerful demonic king. A powerful demonic king meant too much. After all, even king warriors had different levels of power. Top king warriors were way more powerful than normal king warriors in terms of power and deterrence. The best example would be the Dragon God Celestial Palace in the East Shallow Sea. With the power of the old Dragon King alone, the other 4 powerful parties did not even dare to think about it. All these years, they had been waiting for the old Dragon King's life to run out. Sun Xiaojin did not even look at the crowd as he led Yi Chen toward the palace in the center of the light cover. The palace was deep and spacious, and its color was ancient blue. In the center of the palace, there was an octagonal platform. On each of the 8 sides of the platform, there was a stone tablet. The first stone tablet had the word sky, the second earth, the third mountain, followed by lake, thunder, wind, water, and fire. The stone tablets were extremely ancient, emitting a vast aura. The 8 stone tablets combined together seemed to be able to suppress everything. Sun Xiaojin pointed at the circular hole in the middle of the platform and said, "This is the undersea spiral tunnel. This is your first time here, so you should train on the 7th floor. If you go any further down, you will feel extremely uncomfortable, and it will be hard for you to calm down and train. As for training inside, you do not need to worry about people plotting against you. No one would dare to attack you inside the tunnel." 7th floor? What are the requirements for the people who enter the tunnel? Normally, the higher your power, the deeper you will be able to go. However, this is only for us beasts. You humans can use martial arts to increase your power, but under the same cultivation, you will not be able to go as deep as us beasts. The pressure of the tunnel will affect 3 aspects: the willpower, the Jin Yuan, and the body. Your willpower is very powerful, and your Jin Yuan is also very pure. However, the total amount is too little, which will cause your body to be under even more pressure. Once your body cannot handle it anymore, you will not be able to go any further, and you will have to stop immediately. Let's go down then. Yi Chen also wanted to try out the mysteries of the tunnel. Let's go. Sun Xiaojin walked onto the platform and arrived at the entrance of the tunnel. It was a spiral staircase. The hole was 20 meters in diameter, and the staircase was 9 meters wide. Near the wall of the staircase, there were rooms that were 3 meters wide. Therefore, the staircase that could be walked on was only 6 meters wide. The 2 followed the staircase and started to go down. 1st floor, 2nd floor, 7th floor. Hey! Sun Xiaojin was a bit surprised. He thought that the 7th floor would be Yi Chen's limit. He did not expect that he would be fine without any change in his expression. 8th floor, 9th floor, 13th floor. It seems like I have underestimated you. It was the first time that Sun Xiaojin had seen an astral-reaching realm warrior reach the 13th floor. In the past, no one had even reached the 7th floor. Yi Chen said, "In terms of Jin Yuan and body, I do not have much of an advantage. But my willpower is more than enough to make up for it and surpass it." Willpower. Interesting. Those who walk on willpower will basically become top warriors. You are qualified to be my rival in the future. There were not many people who could get Sun Xiaojin's approval. In other words, Yi Chen had made Sun Xiaojin feel threatened. It was the kind of threat that he did not have much confidence in winning against Yi Chen at the same level. After reaching the 15th floor, Yi Chen finally felt that he had reached his limit. In terms of willpower, he could handle it easily, but his Jin Yuan and body could not handle any more pressure. Even if his willpower had cancelled out a part of it, he would not be able to avoid it. "Brother Sun, I will train here." Under the invisible pressure, even Yi Chen found it difficult to speak. Sun Xiaojin nodded. His tall and sturdy body continued to walk down. Soon, he disappeared on the next floor. Retracting his gaze, Yi Chen was about to let out a breath to relieve the pressure. But, just as he opened his mouth, he closed it immediately. He was afraid that if he let out a breath, it would cause an imbalance between the pressure inside and outside, which would cause his chest bones to collapse and cause serious injuries. I should still be careful. Arriving at the door of the room next to him, Yi Chen opened the door and walked in. The room was neither too big nor too small, 3 meters in both width and length. There was only a cushion on the floor, and nothing else. Sitting on the cushion with his legs crossed, Yi Chen closed his eyes and entered the training mode. So slow. In the past, once Yi Chen activated his martial art, his Jin Yuan would circulate at a high speed like a rushing river. But, in the tunnel, the Jin Yuan circulation speed was reduced by 10 times. Every step forward was extremely difficult, as if there was a mountain inside. My body is at its limit, and so is my Jin Yuan. Fortunately, my willpower is more than enough. Otherwise, training here would not be worth it, and it would be hard to concentrate. Yi Chen had a preliminary understanding of the underwater tunnel's function. It was to use the pressure to push one to their limit, allowing them to improve even faster. Of course, too much pressure was not a good thing, since a person's potential could not be forced out all of a sudden. If one could not even move his mind, then there would be no training at all. There had to be a limit, and that limit would have to be controlled by oneself. Soon, Yi Chen realized that the slow circulation speed of Jin Yuan was not a bad thing. Sometimes, if the circulation speed was too fast, it would be easy to miss out on the details. But now that it had slowed down, Yi Chen had a new understanding of the Green Lotus sword spell. He could clearly see the minute changes when the Jin Yuan was circulating. Every meridian it passed through actually had a slight difference. When the Jin Yuan passes through this meridian, it will produce a slow acceleration effect. The inner wall of this meridian is not smooth, which causes the Jin Yuan to vibrate. After 1 month, Yi Chen had actually trained to the peak of the 14th realm of the Green Lotus sword spell, and had made 2 breakthroughs. It should be known that there were 5 breakthroughs from the peak of the 14th realm to the 15th realm. Making 2 breakthroughs was definitely unexpected. Normally, when most people came to the underwater tunnel, they would be able to train faster. However, Yi Chen's willpower was just too powerful. He was only at the peak of late astral reaching realm, but he had the master level sword intent. This kind of willpower had allowed him to perform extremely well under extreme pressure. Most importantly, even if other people had the master level sword intent at the peak of late astral reaching realm, they would still not be able to compete with Yi Chen. They would at most be able to double the effect. But, it should not be forgotten that Yi Chen's master level sword intent was based on his extremely powerful soul. With a powerful soul, his sword intent would be even more powerful, which would give him endless motivation. In other words, when battling with the same level of sword intent, Yi Chen would be able to last longer than anyone else, maybe even 10 times longer. Yi Chen did not even know where the limit of his soul was, because only after reaching the Sea of Souls realm would he be able to fully use his soul power. Right now, Yi Chen was only guessing. The first 2 breakthroughs were easy to make, but the latter 3 would be much more difficult. However, after 2 months, Yi Chen had still managed to reach the 15th realm of the Green Lotus sword spell, which was the highest realm. Once he reached the 15th realm, Yi Chen felt the pressure around him lighten up. His whole body felt light, as if he could float in the air. Inside his dantian, on top of the blue lotus, countless lotus heart sword chi started to appear. 1, 2, 10, 20, 99, 99 lotus heart sword chi appeared in total. But, Yi Chen knew that this was only the number on the surface. Every time he used up a lotus heart sword chi, a new one would be born. As long as his Jin Yuan was not completely used up, the lotus heart sword chi would be endless, and it would be able to burst out a sword chi tornado. Doubled. My battling power has doubled again. Yi Chen, who was always calm, could not help but feel his blood boiling. At his level, the meaning of having his battling power doubled was obvious. Before, his limit was the battle power of a soul warrior. But now, he could completely compete with spirit warriors, and even kill normal spirit warriors. This Green Lotus sword spell is so powerful. Out of the 99 Lotus Heart Sword Chi, even if only 10 of them could be used at the same time, it would be enough to shock the world. After all, each Lotus Heart Sword Chi has a power close to the amaranthine nature. If 10 of them were to be used at the same time, Who in the same realm would be able to block it? It turns out that the power of the soul has just been revealed. Before, I had buried the advantage of the soul power. All this time, Yi Chen had only been training normally, using the comprehensive ability of the soul power. But now, he finally understood that under normal circumstances, the effect of the soul power could not be shown at all. Why did his immortal body training speed increase when he was being chased by the 4C of Soul's Realm demi-beasts from the AO family? And why did his training speed increase when he was under the pressure in the underwater tunnel? It was all because of the pressure, because only pressure could bring out the real advantage of the soul power. Before, he could only use 20 to 30% of his soul power. But now, thinking about it, he realized that it was such a waste of resources. The more pressure there is, the more potential I have. I am still far from reaching my limit. But, once I understand the advantage of the soul power, it means that the future will not be peaceful anymore. How could normal training create pressure? Hee. Forcing a smile, Yi Chen thought to himself, doesn't this mean that I am the reason for the chaos in this era? I am one of the reasons for the chaos in this world. Yi Chen had never thought that he would not be able to become a life and death realm warrior. Therefore, when the world was in chaos, he would be one of the most important people. Also, he had to thank Xiao Feng Scent Drizzle for tipping him 20,000 Chijian coins, and Watermelon Skin N0 for tipping him 20,000 Chijian coins. Chapter 499. I have trained my Green Lotus sword spell to the highest level, the 15th level. The purity and quantity of my Jin Yuan have increased a lot. I might as well go to the next level. Standing up, Yi Chen opened the door and walked out. The 16th level. The 17th level. The 21st level. Yi Chen arrived at the 21st level, which was close to the 22nd level. Inside the room, Yi Chen got rid of all the distracting thoughts and sat down again to train. After 3 days and 3 nights, Yi Chen had completely consolidated the 15th level of the Green Lotus sword spell. The Blue Lotus Seed and Lotus Heart Sword Qi in his dantian were getting more and more condensed. Under the heavy pressure, he pushed his Jin Yuan with all his strength. He could even hear the sound of water flowing, which was the sign of extremely dense and pure Jin Yuan. Besides that, Yi Chen had finally trained his spirit body. Each of his movements contained the power of a great weapon, which greatly increased his defense and body's endurance. With the spirit body trained, my Green Lotus sword spell has reached the highest level. Without using the Lotus Heart Sword Qi, my battling power would increase by around 20%, which would allow me to compete with the weakest spirit level warriors. Once I use a large amount of Lotus Heart Sword Qi and create a Sword Qi tornado, my battling power would increase drastically. After all, who would be able to perform multiple killing attacks at the same time, or even 10 at the same time? 1 or 2 Lotus Heart Sword Qi would not be scary, but when it was formed into a large scale, it would be horrifying. In fact, Yi Chen's current pure power was only equal to the weakest spirit level warriors. However, if he performed the Lotus Heart Sword Qi, he would be able to kill normal spirit level warriors. This was the advantage of the endless Lotus Heart Sword Qi. The time I promised with Brother Sun was 3 months. It has already been 3 days. Let's get out first. Before coming, Yi Chen and Sun Xiaojin had promised to come out together in 3 months. Of course, because of the possibility of a breakthrough, the first one to go out would have to wait outside for a week. Outside the tunnel, inside the palace, Sun Xiaojin sat on the ground with his legs crossed. Yeah, I'm out. Sun Xiaojin opened his eyes and looked at Yi Chen, who had just walked out of the tunnel. Yi Chen said apologetically, Brother Sun, sorry to keep you waiting. No problem, it has only been 3 days. Hey, you broke through? Sun Xiaojin could tell with a single glance that Yi Chen's aura and physique had become much more powerful than before. This underwater spiral passageway is indeed mysterious. It uses pressure to force out one's potential, allowing one to achieve twice the result with half the effort. I come here once every half a year, and it's rare for me to have a breakthrough. I didn't expect you to be able to improve so quickly on your first visit. You're really abnormal among humans. Sun Xiaojin was very shocked at Yi Chen's training speed. What kind of person is this? He gets stronger every once in a while. If I don't work harder, I will be surpassed by him sooner or later. Sun Xiaojin was a prideful person. Becoming the Beast King had always been his goal. He had always thought that he would be able to walk in front of the young generation and be the best. Therefore, even though his grandpa Sun Tai had high hopes for Yi Chen, he had only thought that Yi Chen's potential was close to his, and had not reached his level yet. But now, he no longer thought so. This human genius was definitely the most horrifying genius he had ever met. Yi Chen smiled and looked outside the hall. He asked curiously, "Why is there no one here?" Sun Xiaojin frowned, "I don't know either. Maybe something big happened. Let's get back to the water ape cave as soon as possible. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go." Walking out of the hall and leaving the grey light cover, the two flew toward the water ape cave at their fastest speed. Half a day later, the two arrived at the cave. "You guys are back. Come to my place." A voice reached the two's ears. It was the leader of the water ape race, Sun Tai. Yi Chen and Sun Xiaojin exchanged a look, then walked toward the stone hall behind the stone room. Inside the stone hall, Sun Tai was sitting on top. Sun Xiaojin asked, "Grandpa, what happened?" Sun Tai forced a smile. "There is a battle. Is it the deep sea power?" Sun Xiaojin obviously knew something. "Indeed. This time, they came with a lot of energy. I'm afraid they are preparing for a long battle. The Alliance has already started to deploy troops in the underwater plateau. My water ape race has also sent a team of 500 people. The leader is your second grandpa's son, and the second and third leaders are your first and third grandpa Kong." Yi Chen did not understand. "Senior son, what is this battle and the deep sea power? Is it very dangerous?" Sun Tai explained, "Indeed." Sun Tai explained, "The 30 million miles of the true spirit continent's ocean is the shallow ocean, and beyond that is the deep ocean. In between the two is a circle of underwater plateaus. The deep ocean is extremely vast, and does not have much contact with our shallow ocean. But, it is not absolute either. Some of the deep ocean powers near the shallow ocean have always been eyeing the shallow ocean's geographical location, wanting to take over the shallow ocean. Of course, our shallow ocean powers would not allow that. Every few years, we would have a battle with them. There are too many shallow ocean powers in the south, and we do not have enough cohesiveness. Therefore, we have gradually formed the South Shallow Ocean Alliance. The main purpose of the alliance is to gather everyone's power together and fight against the deep ocean powers. It has been 100 years since the last battle. I see. However, Yi Chen could not understand what was so good about the shallow sea that the deep sea powers would not hesitate to start a war. Perhaps seeing through Yi Chen's question, Sun Tai continued, "In the boundless ocean, there is only one true spirit continent. As far as everyone knows, the true spirit continent is a treasure. The shallow sea next to the true spirit continent is naturally the best place for the deep sea powers to use as a springboard. Of course, the most important thing is that the closer one is to the continent, the more spirit veins there will be, and the more treasures there will be. Although the deep sea also has spirit veins and treasures, they are too scattered and hard to find. Plus, there are too many natural dangers." Sun Xiaojin said at this moment, "Grandpa, I want to join the battle." Hearing him, Sun Tai smiled and said, "I called you here to ask you if you want to join the battle. Don't worry, although the scale of this battle is huge, most of the time, it will just be small skirmishes, wearing out the other side's power. It will not be too intense. If there are no accidents, this battle will last at least 10 years. And in these 10 years, it will be the best time for you young generation to train yourselves. You should not have seen a battle between rank 7 and 8 beasts and astral-reaching realm warriors, right? This is a good opportunity. In that case, Yi Chen would also like to see it." Yi Chen knew that the scale of this battle was huge, and it was definitely rare. The battles between countries would be made up of mortal realm warriors, while the battles between the shallow sea powers and the deep sea powers would be made up of rank 7 and 8 beasts and astral-reaching realm warriors. How could Yi Chen not go and see it? The scene of the parallel space battlefield was still vivid in Yi Chen's mind. It was a battle that even king warriors would participate in. Although it was said that before the world was in chaos, king warriors would not participate in the battle, but it was perfect for Yi Chen. If there were king warriors joining, he would have to think about it. Yeah, it will not be just you two. I have already selected a team of 30 warriors from the water ape race. They are all young water apes, and you two will be the leaders. Xiao Jin, although you are very powerful, you are too hot-tempered. Therefore, you can be the leader. The one making the decisions will be Yi Chen. Yi Chen, are you willing to be the second leader of this team? Sun Tai looked at Yi Chen. Yi Chen said with a bit of hesitation, Senior son, the battle is merciless. I am afraid that I might not be able to let them all come back alive. He could not help but worry, since the water ape race was very small in number. If one died, there would be one less. They were not like humans, who could be squandered as they pleased. Haha. Sun Tai laughed out loud. You don't have to worry about that. Since I have sent them, I have already prepared for them to be wiped out. My only request is that you two try not to risk your lives too much and come back alive. I have no other requests. Powerful warriors have to go through life and death situations. What kind of small shrimps would come out in peace? The second leader will be Yi Chen. Hearing Sun Tai's words, Yi Chen naturally did not have any burden in his heart. All right, all of you, come out. Sun Tai looked to the side of the stone palace. Swoosh. A group of young water apes walked out. The lowest was at the 7th rank, and there were 10 who had reached the 8th rank. Kong Xiaohui was one of them. Listen up, Xiao Jin will be your leader, and Yi Chen will be your second leader. During the battle, Xiao Jin will be the leader, and before the battle, Yi Chen will be the leader. Whoever dares to disobey will be punished according to the clan rules. Do you all understand? Understood. The voices of the 30 young water apes were like thunder. Nodding satisfactorily, Sun Tai waved his hand. The wall behind the stone palace suddenly cracked open, revealing a conveyor gate inside. This conveyor gate was built 2 weeks ago. The teleportation point is at the underwater plateau. The conveyor gate there is controlled by our Shallow Sea Alliance. You can go now. Grandpa, I will go now. Senior son, goodbye. Sun Xiaojin and Yi Chen led the 30 people into the conveyor gate. Woo! The group disappeared without a trace. Waiting until everyone had left, Sun Tai sighed. He is indeed worthy of being a true dragon-level martial genius. His improvement is too fast. Compared to him, Xiao Jin is really lacking. Plus, this kid is not as simple as he looks. His potential is immeasurable. No one knows where the limit of his potential is. The underwater plateau was the boundary between the shallow sea and the deep sea. It was 50,000 meters tall and 1,000,000 miles wide, looking like a giant ancient dragon in the ocean. On the side of the plateau near the deep sea, a large number of sea beasts gathered there. These sea beasts were different from the normal ones, seeming to be even more ferocious. The small ones were only a couple of meters in size, while the big ones were thousands of meters in size. The evil chi they emitted gathered together, causing the seawater to be extremely turbid. On the side of the plateau near the shallow sea was the army of the Southern Shallow Sea Alliance. Among the army, 10% were humans, and 90% were sea beasts. Be it the humans or the sea beasts, they all had a trace of the same aura ripple. This aura ripple was emitted from the tag, which was the most effective way for the Southern Shallow Sea Alliance to distinguish between friend and foe. After all, once the battle broke out, the shallow sea beasts would be easily confused with the deep sea beasts. Woo! Behind a 500-man water ape team, the conveyor gate lit up. 32 figures walked out, led by Sun Xiaojin and Yi Chen. Xiaojin, you are here. The rank 10 water ape second master Sun walked over and handed out the tags. Sun Xiaojin said, Second master Sun, how many troops do we have? More than 200,000 in total. Hearing him, Yi Chen took a deep breath. 200,000 troops. This was not an army made up of rank 1 or 2 sea beasts and mortal realm warriors, but rank 7 or 8 sea beasts and astral reaching realm warriors. 200,000 of them. What kind of concept was that? Dong, 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 dong. All of a sudden, a huge drumming sound was heard, spreading out in all directions. Even the seawater started to vibrate, layer upon layer. The battle had begun. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,